we deliver the news to your door. Breaking news, top headlines, the big story, the latest update, and all you need to know are only available on the African Actions Network, 2A Radio and TV. The only independent and balanced online news network. Broadcasting from America to the world. We inform.
And welcome to a radio roundtable. It is good to be back here tonight or this afternoon or in the morning, wherever you are, wherever the time is. We are bringing to you live programs from our live studio, and we have with us some very, very important studio guests tonight or this morning. And I'm going to ask each one of us to introduce ourselves. We want to start with Mr. Nubo.
I'm George Numbo. I'm from Maryland County, and I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Nubo, and welcome to a radio roundtable. I know you're a regular panelist, so thank you for accepting our invitation. Mr. Kompo.
Thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. My name is George Ganpu. I am an economist. I am a former Deputy Minister of Finance for Budget and Budget Director of the Republic of Liberia. I am an aspirant or candidate for the presidency of Liberia in the upcoming 2023 election. I'm also a college professor. I teach in the area of international finance, in the area of development economics, and as well as management statistics.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for accepting our invitation. It's good to have you with us again. I believe this is the second time. And we look forward to hearing more about your presidential bid.
Thank you.
Mr. Jensen?
Yeah, I'm James Johnson. I'm in Pennsylvania, and we manage the African Actions Network. And again, we are here to discuss a very important issue, and that is dear to my heart. The death of a young lady is disturbing. No child or no person deserves death in that form and manner. So I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. And to our viewers, we say welcome again, and please do us a favor, share the broadcast. Before we go into our discussion, I want us to see or listen to an audio that was recorded. I don't have exclusive rights over this audio, but it's something that we need to hear. And it's an audio from the Spoon TV, and it has the declaration by the former reconciliation Truth and Reconciliation Commissioner, his statement concerning the security situation in Liberia. So I want us to just listen to it briefly, and then we'll go into our discussion.
The Revolution Squad was a government operation, and the police was told to stand down. Specifically, I don't know if we know who Jefferson Koji is.
Okay, I want to start that audio from the beginning, and so we can have a full detail.
Loretta Scott, could you please speak to us?
Yes, ma'am, very precisely. And I followed the program a little bit, and it was said that the government's intervention was very, very late because the attack on Justice Muscat was a government operation, and the police was told to stand down. Specifically, I don't know if we know who Jefferson Koji is. He was the one who organized and masterminded the attack on Justice Muscat. At the moment, we are trying to find out the purpose or the objective. It's not very clear yet. It will be personal or political because of her current political role. But the guy who entered the house is one Valley Taylor. Valley Taylor. He lives in the Brewerville area. He works at the Monrovia City Hall as the Deputy Chief of Operations for Monrovia City Hall Police. He's a former A2U officer, and he's a former fighter of Ulimo K. He did a lot of killing in Sino County. He's a very dangerous killer. He entered there and carried out the operation. When he entered the house, he had nothing on his feet, and he had no top, no shirt, no dress, no nothing. And he entered with short pants. The intention was to sodomize, that was the plan, to sodomize the justice. When he got in, the reaction of the child who tried to prevent him, the children who tried to prevent him from entering her private premises, he killed one and wounded the other. And when he got in as far as the justice, she had a pepper spray. And that was her last defense. She sprayed him a lot. And so his plans was aborted. He didn't succeed in doing what he wanted to do. The children got injured, and I think she was touched a little bit. But Jefferson Koji is the one who ordered that hit on Justice Muscat. And as we all have realized, killings have gone on. We have reports that we are timing when to release. The 3 missing boys, that one was directly done by President Weah himself. The killing of Banten Yinsua was done by agents of the very Kuji. We have a full comprehensive report on that. And the killings go on and on. It's a sad state for our country. There's a lot that needs to be done. We hope that international community will come in and do what they have to do. But reports have been ready. Reports have been sent out of the country already. And I'm just going through the synopsis. Who, when, where. Most of the things we haven't found out is the objective. Except they are just killers who believe they have to kill. We are still investigating the motives and the objectives. We don't have much.
So,
But with
Councillor,
respect to... Yes, ma'am.
yes, Councillor, we would like to have the opportunity to just ask you at least one question each. How do you know this, Councillor? How do you know that Koji has some sort of connection to this killing? How do you know this?
There are 2 things. We will be asking government for an investigation, an independent inquiry into all of these deaths. We have the evidence. We are on the ground. We monitor movements on the ground. We have people within the government state apparatus who communicate with us, and we verify. We do not rely on one evidence from one person. We verify most of what we say, and that's how we get to know. There are a
Thank
lot
you.
of things going on that we monitor when it comes to corruption, human rights violation, and crimes against humanity. We monitor them very closely.
Thank you.
That was the statement from Councillor Jerome Ferdia on Spoon TV. And so after listening to that piece, I want to ask this question. What do you think will be, running in the minds of Liberians concerning the security situation? Because given the high-profile government official that was hit, This is a lady that served as justice minister. She also served as senator for Maryland County and Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. What do you think is running through the minds of citizens of Liberia? I want to start with Mr. Nubo. Mr. Nubo is also from Maryland, and I believe he empathized with his countrywoman, Mr. Nubo.
Well, before I start, I want to applaud the effort of Jerome Verdio here in the U.S. and Darius DeLong there in the Liberian Senate. The presentation that DeLong made on the Senate floor, I almost cried.
Mm.
That was a presentation that should have been made by Barney, Senator Barney, or Blebo Brown. I mean, what's going on in the minds of the people in Liberia is insecurity. The president told us long ago that we must be our own security. So nobody in the country, especially so those who are in the opposition, is secure in Liberia. I tried last week to talk to the senator. It looked like she tried to call back, and that was a strange number. No, I refused to answer it. I tried yesterday, and early this morning, she called me back. She said, Mr. Numo, I'm still in a state of confusion. And this whole tragedy, the government, the CDC, and the government is trying to turn it to a different narrative. Mobile Molu and other people saying that the girl that died is not a woman daughter. Does that matter? There's no justification. Whether she is a daughter or she is a cousin, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton wrote a book that says it takes a village to raise a child. That is African society. So I want to say that nobody is secure in our country.
Thank you, Mr. Nubo. Mr. Kompo, Dr. Kompo.
Yeah, let me start by expressing deep condolences to Justice Scott and her family, and express my prayers for the other victim who is still alive, and hope that the Lord comfort his family at this time as they go through this period. But I would say that the whole nation clearly is really concerned and in a shock, and also in a state of fear, I would say, in terms of where we are heading. I watched some of the discussions in the Senate and were reminded of our past history, how Liberia disintegrated due to ineffective leadership that translated into an atmosphere of attack on critical voices. So these reflections are being made at this time. What does this mean? What are the real issues here? No one, especially young people or a young child, deserves death. I think that it's time for all of us to lay aside our political hats and see this as a movement to unite and to bring solutions to these kind of criminal, cowardly behaviors. This is not the first time this has happened. We know of lots of information across the country, especially, well, I don't want to call any specific place, but during election season, the news going around now, or the concerns going around now, is that this is a time that people are going to engage in all kinds of ritualistic crimes and other kinds of violent crimes in order to gain supernatural power, in order to go after their enemies. But we pray and we have to work to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Thank you, Dr. Kompo. Mr. Jensen, Anthony Jensen.
Well, patient, I want to say thanks and to our two personalities. I say thanks for coming. But the issue about personally for me, I'm troubled. We that have children, sometimes when you look around and these kinds of side event, of course, it bothers every reasonable person. Now, my attention got drawn to the Liberia National Police recent invitation to the former Chief Justice, Gloria Musu-Scout. I was asking myself whether the Liberia National Police actually understand their social responsibility in policing and providing concern for a victim or family of a victim. Councillor Scout being a profile person, at this time, even sitting in America, I know how hurt she is. For somebody to be killed in her yard, it should be of concern. Now, the Liberia National Police should have seen Councillor Scout's home as a scene. They should have gone there for them to get evidence in whatever way and form. Sometimes when the police conduct themselves in this kind of manner, we ask a lot of questions. I'm not a police person, but the crime scene, they should have gone over that. Do they have the order of government resources? They have other government resources. They went there, according to Gloria Scout. Listen to Gloria Scout yesterday when she was leaving the police headquarters. You could see how troubled this woman is.
Mr. Jensen, just hold it there. Let's bring Gloria Scout. She was talking to the press yesterday. Let's just take a look at the clip briefly.
This situation.
Okay.
Many persons don't know the night of this situation after this girl was declared dead at the detention hospital. I went straight to the home of the Minister of Justice. Because at that time he assigned 2 soldiers 2 police officers to take me. And the next day, in the days, I can't remember the names of people who came to me, but I had encounters with the police officer. Later on, I was made to understand because right now where I am, it seems like an unending nightmare. And they came and talked to me, and they left. The following day, another group of police officers came to me and talked to me. On Friday, after the week of the incident, the Minister of Justice and some of the investigators came to me and interacted with me. The following week, they wanted to at that time, nobody had told me that they wanted to interview other members of my household. The following week, taking into consideration what was happening, and I informed them that
we will just pause that. I just wanted us to hear a little bit of what she was saying concerning the police, the way in which they handle the whole situation. Go ahead, Anthony Jensen.
I was saying that, and I was making reference to that very video. And the police should have been to Gloria Scott's house to get pieces of evidence. It's not because Gloria Scott is a former Chief Justice. The police has all right to have moved in that yard, to have combed that yard, to have secured that yard, and get every piece of evidence sent there where the lady died, or the lady was killed, the lady was murdered. They should have been in there. Did they get fingerprint? With my own common sense, did they get fingerprint? Did they get the murder weapon? Did they get? I'm sure they have some of those pieces of information. I don't want to doubt that they didn't. They should have gotten statement from Gloria Scott the very first time they went there, even though she was bereaved. But the police should have done a job. Everybody in that yard. Why is somebody in that yard should have traveled the next day? So you got there the very first time. You are a police officer. You are getting statement from those who were in the yard. Now, the people I bereaved, in our own culture, that kind of a respect for those kind of people, the police ignore it. Why are you putting the woman up and down? For what? To prove what? If you didn't get statement from the very first thing, what is wrong with you sending some of your intelligent people to go and sit with Gloria Scott in your house and take a statement from there? We all saw the picture. See how that woman. No. Look, if it was me, if I were even serving as lawyer for that lady, she wouldn't have gone there. I would have demanded Liberia National Police to go to her house and get statement from there.
Yes.
It makes no sense. The police get all of government resources. They've been paid to do their job. But they just want to baffle this case. And I really, really want to think they must do something better than that. So what did they get from the woman? The woman say they're going to her house now. The thing they should have done, they say they're going to her house, I think either today or whatever day they're going to go to her house to continue the investigation. What sense is that? Why would the people treat Liberia in that form and manner? It's disturbing. At the end of the day, the way the proceeding is like nothing going to come out of this thing. Radio statement, we will discuss it, but these people must be very serious. Like that the couple said, some of us were young people in that country during the Dole regime. There are a lot of things went on. Today, up to today's date, there are things that happened in Liberia people have not even investigated. People are not concerned to go to the depth of things. This we are government. The number of persons that have died. So if the government fails to do what it's supposed to do, all of this speculation will give credence to them. Jerome Vadia's statement, some of us are asking the hard questions because it's hard to doubt Jerome Vadia because there's no second-hand information, there's no first-hand information from the government. So we all are judging ourselves, Liberian international partners, in the way some of the information are filtering. Is that people who are within the government are the one who giving this truthful information out. So it's concerning for Gloria Scott's situation. I mean, my deep sympathy go to her. This is a sad time for Liberia. I think the people should change the narrative. It's not good for Liberia.
Looking at the handling of the whole situation concerning former Chief Justice Moses Scott. The police, I listened to a couple of videos. I heard Senator Yombli Kanga making a statement that the time of intervention, from the time that the police was informed to the time they arrived at the scene, it was like 6 hours. And then we see in the Senate, there's this contemplation, people are contemplating whether they should have this vote of no confidence in the police. What do you think? What's your opinion on that, Mr. Nubo? We'll start for you.
Well, the police disputed that, but I feel that the vote of no confidence is needed, not only for this case, but for also for previous cases. So the vote of no confidence, I don't know where it would take us. I don't think that it would make George Weah to fire the head of the police, but I'm as symbolic as it may seem, I feel that it is necessary.
Dr. Gompo.
Yeah, the issue of voting no confidence in the police is something that could be considered, and if they're considering it, I won't object to it. But I think, as I said, people have to be held accountable.
Right.
People have to be held responsible, including the legislature. Who confirmed this police director? It was that same Senate, right?
Right.
What are his qualifications? What credentials did he bring to this job, to this strategic job that is so significant to building peace and consolidating democracy in the country? He is not alone. I think the Senate itself need to be held responsible, because everyone who served in these politically appointed positions go through the Senate. How much work is done there? So I think it is time for the Senate to become more transparent. Let us know who is voting in which way, so that when these kinds of incompetence are being displayed, we know who nominated and who approved. So the legislature has to go beyond this to really bring a solution to this. And not only the legislature, we as citizens, we all need to get involved, because their power depends on our vote. So we have to step in to tell our legislators what we want. I would think that the legislature, if the president is not considering it, they have to ask the president to use his foreign policy tools. The FBI will be interested in these kinds of criminal activities that go on in the country, because the FBI has an international crime unit. The FBI goes to other countries to investigate, including Nigeria and other places. So the FBI, the ECOWAS, the Mano River Union, the president needs to take the lead now. Get in contact with your colleagues. We know where this case is going to end with the Liberian police. So the issue of Liberian police, we know where all the other cases, have gone. Either carbon monoxide poisoning, in the streets of Monrovia, or is somebody falling off their own house, out of their own house, killing people in Monrovia, according to some of their reports. So we know where it's going. It is time for solution. It is time, as I said, it's time, this kind of situation. I think the legislature need to begin to consider maybe a domestic terrorism act, because when you do these types of things, it sends shockwaves across the entire nation and across the entire international community. It's not good for the economy, it's not good for businesses, and there's a lot of fear. So it has to go beyond the normal police investigation. We're investigating, and we're indefinitely investigating. The MRU is there. If the president calls on Bill or calls on the other president in the Cote d'Ivoire or calls on the Ghanaian president or the Nigerian president, they are all interested in the peace and security of Liberia.
Sure.
That's right.
In Liberia caused a lot of damages to those countries. So they are very concerned right now, the way things are heading. So if they're serious, they need to forget about their pride, because it, remove the P from your pride and ride. You need to get out and be, ahead of this thing. So the Senate needs to be doing its work. The House of Representatives needs to be doing its work. Civil society needs to be doing its work. Student leadership needs to be doing its work. And even the press union. Where is the press union?
Right.
We don't see the president speak on these kinds of issues. Why is it that when it comes to these kind of difficult cases, you don't hear the president, but on Sundays the president is out there preaching? Is there a shortage of a religious minister in Liberia?
Sure.
So the press union, you got the Liberian Press Association. How many letters have they written to the president's office to ask why you cannot face the media on this on these critical issues in the country? How many times has this been done since he became president? So this is not a time to just push the ball and say the police. We know where the police is going. The police director was at the Senate. I watched a portion of his presentation. And what did he say? He said the police was there within 15 minutes of the call. Within 15 minutes of the call.
Both of us know that even the time from Broad Street or Capitol Hill to ERW Junction is more than 15 minutes.
He said the police was there, but
crime scene is in Broadway.
Right.
So it just tells us
it's like we're in a different country. Is there any Liberian who has ever called a police to a crime scene and the police arrived within 15 minutes?
No way.
Okay,
unless
so
the helicopter.
Right. So it is obvious where they are heading. I am saying that this is something that all citizens have to find a way to unite, come to the table to free our country of criminality. If we have a rising crime wave, this suffering will continue. The economy will not perform. And when the economy is not performing, you will just have more crime. Because these things, criminality is correlated with a bad economy. Because when young people, former fighters, do not have
work to do,
other opportunities, they can be hired. $1,000, $500 is big money when you do not have any means to feed your family.
This is dangerous.
So this is something that has very broad implications. Liberia is really at the foundation of modern African democracy. So Liberia is very significant to Africa's transformation, to West Africa's transformation. All of those leaders are watching, and they're prepared to help us prevent any escalation of crisis in Liberia.
Thank you. Anthony Jensen.
For the vote of no confidence, I've been in the cycle of government. I know how a real government would have operated. I'm wondering what is the speaker telling the president. I'm wondering what is the president pro tempore telling the president. What is the executive committees of the two houses telling the president? The security committee, what are they saying? It's not, I mean, the vote of no confidence, yes, it's good as it is. It has an intent. The intent is to allow the president to dismiss those presidents who vote of no confidence going to be placed in. So if the president pro tempore, the speaker, those heads of strategic committees or standing committees are not talking to the president to do what he's supposed to do, then the government is not functioning the way it should function. It is embarrassing to see those people not acting the way they're supposed to act. Up to today's date, President Weah has not spoken about anything like this kind. Why? Joe Biden just recently, once him up and got killed, he flew from there to go to see the family. Maybe they say, okay, that's America. Liberia, as small as that country is, George Weah, he should know that his first primary duty is to protect life and property. If a single soul has died in a form of manner, the very first person that's supposed to speak should be George Weah. He's a town chief. He should cry out. You should be calling on security to ensure, give the security a serious mandate, despite their statutory obligation. Tell them, I need a report within so time, as soon as possible. I need this. Let Liberians see you working as a leader, as someone who the people trusted and voted in. But his silence, get the police director doing all the funny thing, I would call it. Sending for Global Scout at Metin, it was never necessary. They get all the government vehicles. They get everything available to them. They get the money and everything. They can move to any place and get any statement and call anybody. It is their right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it is not their right to call anybody. All right?
Okay, Anthony Jensen.
Sorry.
Okay.
I live close by. I'm not far from the police station. You see the people running somewhere to go, That's what we're talking about. Liberia. We hope we hear the kind of serum, ranking and moving into a place. Go and draw your yellow line and say, okay, even though Global Scout are a house here, but we still have to do some, investigation here. Rather than leaving the crime scene, go to the offices, the police station, and call it, okay, Global Scout, you must come here. We need to hear from you. Then people politicizing it, people taking the airway. Global Scout said it right. People say she don't want to talk. What do you want to hear from her? She has a right to be silent in the first place. Do your investigations, forward the case to court. If she's needed from all the what you said, she will go there. She will testify. She will say what she want to say. But you leave all of those things, this poor woman, when I say poor in the sense where she could not provide security for herself. So for the no confidence, yes, it's in place. It is their right to do it. But what is the objective? What do they want to achieve? Georgia is not going to hide. So these people must step up. Even there's 1 year to election, let's say a few months to election, but they must take Liberia very seriously. And George Weah himself, let me say this openly. There are other leaders who have left offices, and some of them have gone to international court. There's so much going on. There's so much being said. His silence may lead into a problem. It's not because people hate him, but maybe he's innocent. But why would he be quiet at this kind of a time? And some of his lieutenants being accused, and he said nothing. When the church people now to talk, it's like everybody know what George Weah does. George Weah and Prince Johnson now, they go to stand on to preach and throw out all the jobs. That is not the way to proceed. The president has all available means. There's money in his budget for this kind of publicity to speak to Liberian people. The media, you don't need to send the press secretary. I need to address the media. Even now, in an hour, the media will be to his disposal. Why is he quiet? A lot needs to be said. The legislator needs to be more serious, proactive. This is not time for politics. The CDC partisans that in our legislature, you need to take out their party hat. That's what Mama Molu said. I mean, it's a joke. Like John Numo said, who cares whether there are people? That's a humanitarian aspect. Whether that woman, our own daughter, now own daughter, that's not an issue. Somebody is being killed. Then you party chairman, you get nothing to talk about. Oh, that's not a woman's daughter. Is that an issue?
And in fact, you know, I mean, even if it's not her own biological daughter, she will be more concerned, and she will be, that's the time she should be even more traumatized.
Right.
Because if somebody child, if you know your niece or whatever, you are supposed to provide that protection.
I know.
Exactly.
And you be a grandmother, you know, motherhood, and we must be made clear, motherhood and fatherhood is not just the biological role. The nurturing role is highly significant, if it's not even more significant, because we know so many children are left in the street because the you know, the biological mothers, you know, are not available. So many children are left in the hospital. So who's the mother? Is the person who raised the child and who nurtures the child and who the child lives with the mother, or is just the biological mother that has more feeling for that child? So that's, you know, that is really an insignificant issue.
That was a pure nonsense. I mean, let him keep quiet. If you have nothing to as a party chairman, he should be calling his people. Even the party could do its own investigation from all of the things they are hearing. But you didn't even get a gut to even call your partisans to a meeting.
Yeah.
To discuss serious national issue that I'm talking about. That's not our own daughter. Who cares?
Yeah, there is a need for independent investigation. The police can continue its investigation as usual, but you need independent institutions to step in, because the entire Liberian public is watching. The Liberians in the diaspora are watching, and with the involvement of Councillor Verdia's group now, the specific information he's providing, the details in terms of how this person, the form, the minor, and the specific names, the timeline, the money, and everything that is involved, the actors. These are not the only people in Liberia. So, you know, what would be the motive for, and how did he get such specific information? It clearly indicates that there are institutions on the ground, you know, engaged in investigations. So
he said that in his
but they would try to doubt everything, right? Right? That's the thing. So let's assume that he's providing this set of information, but we need independent investigators. ECOWAS, this is the time for ECOWAS to move. This is the time for the UN to move. And the Monroe Union, those countries around us, do not want any crisis in Liberia.
No, it's going to spill over.
That Gompo, to add, this is the time for the civil society organization in Liberia to move. This is the time for the religious community to move.
Right.
Country.
Yeah.
They should not be only pocketbook, no journalists. They need to change. I mean, Verdio did not come out with this revelation. Everything would have been swept under the rug. And that's why I said he is a hero in a case.
Yeah, because it's only Verdio's
account
announced suspect that everybody looking up to now. The government also they have not arrested a single person. They say the person is a person of interest.
Yeah, and by now, if this was in some other countries, the accused the accused killer who have been sent, maybe who have brought medical personnel in to examine this person's body.
Right.
Because if those kind of, chemical touch his body, they know the reaction some of those things will have. By this time, they will start taking sample and other things. So
there's this video the press conference that a journalist asked the accused whether he attended his daughter some ceremony, because the justice said she sprayed the person up, she sprayed them, and this accused, he was unable to attend the ceremony for reason he alone know, and that was one of the questions, why did he didn't attend the ceremony?
Well, I think his wife or girlfriend said that the man's eyes were hurting, and that hurting, that's why he did not attend the ceremony. And when a journalist asked him that specific question, he did not answer it. They left the press conference.
And
Anyway,
and then
Groska has said she knows from that piece of clip, if you listen keenly, she can definitely identify the person because she saw the person before spraying. All right. And for some of us, look, there are certain reports you listen to. It's just hard to doubt it. Vadia's account, Vadia is not in Liberia.
No.
And there's something that's happening in Liberia, even in the weird cycle. I've said it before. There are people who don't like what is going on. These people will not speak by themselves. They will rather relate the information to those who are brave to talk. And that is what is happening. At the appropriate time, we might hear voices. People are like, well, we have to survive. But this is not good for our country. We will speak about this. And so they give information out to second party or third party so that those information can be released. But Liberia right now, we want to ask all of those persons who are leaders. Your survival should be as good as the survival of the next person. To kill somebody in cold blood is not a good thing. And the international partners are around Liberia. These people are watching. They are even hearing. They are investigating. They get more information. Don't pretend about it. Some of them, they are behaving in a diplomatic role, but yet and still documenting everything that's happening. It's not good for Liberia. Marcus Matthews said, I will quote him, Liberian can respond. Do not come to that state like that. Gobo is saying, let those international partners, the MRAU, the ECOWAS, and those persons come in. It's now time. The time Liberian will wake up, it might just be maybe the worst again. We don't pray for it. But the way in which people are conducting things, I saw Eiffel yesterday at the Capitol building. These people, that's how the Samuel Doe government, I was small, but I lived right in Monrovia. We saw how the tension built up. At the end of the day, this is where we are. These people must be more serious than where we think they are doing. Police director, I listen to police director. To me, I've listened to some of the questions you are answering. I wonder whether, I ask myself a lot of questions. Police director answering the question as though he doesn't even know what is going on. You say, well, the Liberia National Police, they say the police is not supposed to carry arms. It is open and they all have to get out to talk. Just kind of open, talk like that. You see pictures all around with a young man. Yet instead, people don't carry arms. Koji himself, he's not denying the people that carrying arms.
Yeah, and interestingly though,
they need to do. He need to do a lot.
Interestingly, Verdia account said that the accused is a deputy chief of operation.
Yeah.
And throughout the press conferences, there was no reference made to that as to whether this man is actually true that he's in the Liberian government as a deputy chief of operation. I didn't hear it. I listened to the mayor and I listened to the presentation in the legislature. I was listening to see whether that account will be disputed. There was no reference.
Even the media wouldn't ask those kind of question. The question some of the media, like George Numbo said, even our media colleagues, some of them are like, I mean, is
But
like,
why would they ask that question?
They did ask
Because
Coachley whether this
here we are.
is employed.
Okay,
Yeah.
Verdia provided some details on this person's background, right?
Right.
On this person's background. Crime in the background long before we came to office. And now he's saying that this person is serving as deputy chief of operations in the FCC.
That brings
Isn't that significant?
It is.
Dr. Gompo, when you listen to the press conference from the Monrovia City Corporation, you can see that I think he's the PR, right, director that was leading the press conference. And in that press conference, you could see that he could hardly get the accused time to talk. I mean, he kept like leading in the court. Jesse, they would say you leading the witness, right? Because before, when the journalist asked this guy a question, he answered before the guy come and answer the question. I mean, that was so unprofessional. How can you? The question was directly to the accused, and then you answer before you give it was like leading him. This is the way you should go to answer the question. It was all right, outrageous. And then they even asked, they were talking about the time he was in the different security apparatus that he worked with, and the time he took the picture with the gun and everything. The police director was the one, the city police director was the one answering the question for him, and the man was present. If you can answer someone question, you can answer someone when the person they themselves is not present, But he could not allow the man, and the man himself did not, dispute anything he said. He said, "Oh, okay, the picture was taken 1994." Police director, the accused was there. He did not say, "Oh no, that's untrue." He just sat there and did not say anything. Came to a press conference. The accused said the picture was taken in 2000 and something, 2002. Yeah.
Again, this all of these patients, those are all records, documents that serious group of people will take note of. The government also will be speaking, will be doing what they're doing. They are failures to do the right thing. They just hunt them tomorrow. And then what Liberia can fall apart. Liberia may have a very serious situation where the government is out of office and people are held to account. We have seen those kind of situations before. We have read documents. We see what is going on around the world. And this is a new word. And George Weah, I think he has had a significant success of his own life before coming to politics. But if he's not too careful, he might just mess everything up, which may not just be good for him.
I think he has already messed everything up. Let's go to the Koji interview, for example. They asked Koji about this guy here, and Koji said he did not want to discuss his employees.
Yeah, he did not answer the question.
He did not answer the question.
And Mr. Nuba, this man is serving in a strategic leadership position.
Yes.
So he should be aware of this person, people are talking about. So
in fact, he should even suspended this man or release him of his post and let him go and answer and declare before coming to his position.
He is not doing that. And Liberia is headed in the wrong direction. the same direction that took us to war. When Doe was doing these things in Niba County, when Doe was doing these things against opposition, Liberians kept silent. They were quiet because it was not them personally. And that's what is going on. Though people killed the auditors, but it was not the Liberians. They did all kinds of things in this, and now is the Chief Justice. It's not the Liberians. George Nimo, they didn't come to my house and kill me. So I will not talk. And that's what led us to war. And we are going to war. And the election that just took place in Nigeria is a training ground for the CDC government. Last night I posted something, a post put on Facebook. I said, President Biden, it appears that Buhari and George Weah lied to you about free and fair election in their respective countries. And that's what we are heading to. This killing here is to frighten opposition. The censor is the footage of what we see in the voter registration. So Liberians must wake up. This is not Samuel Doe era where people could not get information. But what happened, people all over the world instantly get information. Right. So we must wake up.
Yeah, I think we should hope for the best and work towards preventing another civil crisis or civil war. We know how much our country suffer. That more than a decade of war destroyed this country and destroyed a whole generation. And today we are continuing to suffer the effect.
Yeah.
So we as Liberians, especially the privileged ones who are well educated, who have traveled and are more exposed, have to do everything we can to ensure that we consolidate, we continue to build peace. Building democracy is not easy. It requires I agree with you, continuous oversight of the citizens. You cannot just sit back and assume that because you have elected or voted for somebody you love, the game is over. You have to stay engaged. So let us call on the legislature, let us call on the president through various institutions, through our senators, through our representatives, to do the right thing. Do the right thing. This thing cannot just end with one-sided investigation. I will call for multiple investigations. In the same way how you had the international community stepping in the case of the missing money, I think it is time with this kind of crime issue where it has escalated to that level. Former Attorney General, former Justice, former Chief Justice.
I want to interrupt you. About that missing money. You think that was a genuine stepping in where the audit report was redacted?
Well, Mr. Just a point too. I will agree with that, Gopo. You know why? Because that report you're making reference to, when documents are redacted, there's a purpose, there's a reason. It doesn't mean then that that document is done with. So you and myself, even after the weird government has left power, that document can be useful.
Okay.
So calling on the international partners to step in, because let's agree now that you myself, we are saying the report are going to come from the Liberia National Police. We're not saying it will not be truthful, but may not be truthful. And at the end of the day, who do you rely on? It's an international partner because they are seeing, they are documenting, and I know some of them are even more sophisticated. They may have even more information than you must have sitting here.
Okay, Mr. Jensen.
Okay,
If
before
we call, let
Mr.
me
Novo.
land first. If you call on international community or third party, organization to do investigation, and they go and redact the whole investigation on this Glorious Sky issue. The person who they felt went there, they redact the name, this and that. No, you think it will help us in the current situation we find ourselves in?
Well,
No,
what
it will not
what
help us.
the thing
Mr. Numo, like Dr. Kobo, just a second. Mr. Numo, you know why? Like, for
Why?
example, George Weah. If George Weah gets, if for any reason his name appear in any of the reports, like Vodia did, he went, bluntly calling name like that. The
Okay.
international partner wouldn't do it that way. Because you know why? They don't want their report. Like, for example, that missing money. If they had said George Weah or blah, 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 that would have been the end of the CDC government. That would have been an uprising. And then we'll say, well, it was the cruel report that led to, some all of these things. So the international partners, sometimes when they're taking their actions, we may not agree with them in full, but we must ask the hard questions. Why are they reducting certain things? Do you want to come in and say, well, this government is responsible for the missing money? You know the tension of in Moruga at the time. Had they said George Weah name, had they inserted George Weah in name in that report, there would have been big question. There would have been big issue.
If they had done that, all the killings that have been going on, they were not going to happen. The attack on the Chief Justice House
I agree
was
with you,
not
Mr.
going to
Number,
happen.
but for me,
You have to call a space or space.
So the government would have come to an end at that point in time. Would that have been a solution likewise?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, let's go back.
Well, I would have preferred not having the report redacted. But what was the effect? What was the effect of the international engagement? The Liberian society had more credibility. I mean, they had more confidence that something was being done.
Yes.
And another eye was looking at the same problem. So it calmed the tension. It helped to calm the tension.
Right.
So basically what I'm saying is not that the international community is perfect, but I think that they also want to prevent crisis in Liberia.
Yes.
Think about how much Nigeria spent in Liberian crisis. Think about how many Nigerian soldiers died in Liberia, Ghanaian soldiers and other places. Even I understand that the coup in Gambia, that Yahya Jammeh has served in Liberia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but we can check that. That after he served in Liberia, he went back home, he saw the whole scene, and then he went and staged a coup. You see? So the Liberian crisis, Liberia is at the foundation of modern democracy in Africa. It is the country that gave birth to African liberation.
Yes.
Okay? So Pan-Africanism started in Liberia. So when Liberia falls apart, I mean, it is devastating to democratic growth and democratic consolidation. Liberia must set an example. And that's why we are looking at this 2023 election to be a turning point, to bring forward, significant players who understand the country history. It's very difficult to make good policies in a country and lead a country effectively if you do not spend time to understand the intricacies of that country's history. The oath of office that the president takes tells you that as president, you have to defend and protect the tenets of the Constitution. That Constitution requires that Liberians be happy. They live in peace. They have opportunities. You see? So you have to understand some of these historical documents so that you can be able to lead effectively. And right now, I don't know whether our president is reading the Constitution, whether he's reading his requirements under the law. And if he's not, I think some of our historians need to break the whole Constitution down, break his responsibility down into simple language and give it to him as a gift. Spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes a day instead of going to all the different places. So take your responsibility seriously. The buck, when they say the buck stops with the president, it means he has to exercise executive leadership over the entire cabinet and wherever they perform, including law enforcement. Because he is the chief executive.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gompo. Time is fast spent, and we're going to take our last question we can discuss. And then while you're discussing that, you're going to be using that same time to do your closing. So in 2 minutes, we want to know, most of the time these things happen in Liberia, people tend to introduce diversion tactics so that the eyes of people cannot be on the issue itself. They try to sway people, and so people cannot get the real merit of the case. So what should be done to curtail this kind of tactics? So we want to start with Dr. Gompo. And as you are telling us, you're going to be closing at the same time in 2 minutes, and then we'll go to Mr. Noble before Jensen.
Yeah, I think as I said, this is domestic terrorism. When a grandmother who has served her country, a woman who has served her country, and now she's a grandmother, and is still active, is still mentoring young people, is still contributing. When her life comes under this kind of situation, where she has to face this kind of situation, it's not good for our country, it's not good for the region, it's not good for us as Africans. So I would say that we have to step up and rescue our country from criminality as a patriotic duty, not due to the politics. It's time when the nation is under attack, we come together and unite and lay aside our political differences, take off our political hats, and just be citizens and be patriots. So I would like to say that, look, civil society needs to step up. The faith community needs to step up, volunteer themselves, and say we're ready to join that investigation. The police needs to be equipped not just with money and with equipment, but with competence. Before people are appointed to these strategic positions across government, we want to know the qualifications they bring to the table, the vision they bring to the table. When other presidents are appointing cabinet ministers and whatsoever, they always take at least 2-3 minutes to say what this person is bringing. You don't just hear it on the radio, and then it's a done deal. So the Senate needs to step up its game to review all of those nominations that they have approved. Because if these guys go out there, you don't do due diligence on their background, and they start committing crimes, economic crimes, all kind of crimes, you who vote in that direction will also be held responsible because you have abdicated your responsibility to the state by not doing due diligence before you vote. And there is nothing wrong with being outnumbered. You can't say, well, because I'm not in the majority, So I'm just going to vote along with the majority. No, we want to see the record on who is voting for whom. So the Senate needs to change its rules so that the voting record can be transparent. Now that we're going to the polls, we can then the citizens will have record to say this is how you voted on this issue, this is how you voted on this issue, and based on that, I'm going to re-elect you or I'm going to vote against you. So let the Senate use this issue to change its rules. Let's see some bills going through the House and the Senate quickly to address criminality in the country, raise the penalty level, make it, crime make it more expensive to commit crime, and maybe put that bill in this child's name, the person who died name, And again, as I said, civil society, let us all step up. Let us set up a fund to maybe raise money to help in the whole process of bringing these criminals to book. And I would recommend too, as I said before, the president and his government should reach out to the Mano River Union. Those presidents in our neighboring countries, we can have a joint security force. We can begin to work together on these kind of criminality issue, because somebody could commit a crime in Liberia and just jump into Guinea or jump into to Ivory Coast,
That's
to
right.
Sierra Leone, and commit crime there too. So they will be interested in helping to solve crime in Liberia. So if we are serious about fighting back against criminality,
Thank you.
I think this is the moment that we all should rise. The press union should take a robust role to engage the government more. Let the president come out. Let the discussion be held.
Thank
And
you,
it should
Dr.
not be about, the president doesn't know. If you can speak in any language.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
And be interpreted.
Thank you, Dr. Kompo. Thank you so much. Mr. Nubo, we are closing. We talk about diversion in the case. People, they say all kind of stuff to take people away from the main focus. What what would be your own advice? And as you are saying that, you're going to give us your closing statement as well.
Okay. I feel that Liberians have to be united in this case here. There was a guy killed in Harper that led to the hanging of the 7 government officials. And this guy was not any important person. And I feel that Senator Scott, granddaughter or daughter, is like that guy. I feel that the women need to be united. I feel that Lima Boy need to come out too. The gender ministry need to come out and speak against this. Because I look at the women, there's no denigration in this thing here, but I look at the women as a tribe. They need to be united and come out and confront this thing here. Their own king's person have been attacked. The women need to come out. When the women come out in unison, men will listen. And Dr. Gompu talked about the Senate. The Senate coming out with rules. I feel the House need to be added to it. How the members vote.
Right.
It should be transparent. Let everybody know.
Right.
Mano River Union, bringing Mano River Union in is a good thing, but what the person that the WIA government consider as criminal may not be considered criminal in the Mano River Union. Let's give Henry Costano, let's use him as an example. when they were chasing him. I know that refrigerator or some box they put in or they sent him to Sierra Leone. And the government in Sierra Leone refused to or send him back to Liberia. So we have to be careful because we do not have democracy in Liberia. Some of these other River countries may have the semblance of democracy, but in Liberia we don't have democracy. We have a terrible dictatorship, kleptomaniac government. So I'm just patience. I want you to pass it on to your tribal people, the women in Liberia, for
Mhm.
them to be united, and they will wake us up from the slumber. We the men from the slumber we are in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nuvo. Anthony Jensen.
Mr. Numa, I think IFE was out yesterday, and I think we commend them. They went to the capital and they presented a statement, and it's like the issue of warning to the effect that hoping that the legislature will, look at their petition in the soonest possible time. So I think the women are doing something. But I will agree with you that not only women, but like Dr. Gopu said, civil society, the media, everybody should be involved in this kind of a situation to actually get to the bottom of the matter. It shouldn't be one of those cases that, like a wildfire after maybe a strong breeze, then the rest of it is like ashes, nothing to see. And for the Liberia National Police, I think we still believe that they are the structure that's supposed to do the investigation, but they need to do more than what they're doing. The public watching them, especially the director of LMP, the Justice Minister in particular too. I think, like we heard from Justice Scott, she said they had a meeting. I think she met with the Justice Minister when I think I went to her house or so. And as good as that sound, but we think he should take charge. The Justice Minister controls the Liberia National Police. There should be a more proactive way of dealing with this crisis. I call it crisis because Liberians are fed up with waking up and hearing this person killed, that person killed. And at the end of the day, nothing's happening. Except like what Vodier doing. And I want to commend Vodier too. Not talking about his report. Some of us are hoping to read his report, but we think such an approach is good, where people will look into Liberia and begin to dig out, the real issues, investigation, and get to the bottom of things. Not just, okay, this has ended. Yinswa died. Albert Peter and Gay Lama died. They died. I want you to finish. No, it shouldn't be that way. That in America, it take them years to get to the bottom of a case. I don't know whether the Justice Ministry of Liberia National Police is doing that, whether these emails have or is continuing to investigate those cases, those death cases, not just this one, or they have closed those files. These are matters that are concerning, because it could happen to any of us. We're sitting here. Some of us could leave and go to Liberia when you look, oh, something happened, right? And then people start wondering. So why don't we all put the pressure on the government? It's not hate. It's just a reality. Somebody's life has been taken away. That girl had a future. Her future has ended. So what? What next? So we all should just sit down and say, okay, another person killed, and that's the end of it. It's not good. So I think this is time that all of these people that we all are calling civil society, the media must be more serious. The media is not what. Look, some of the questions people asking, some of the media folks, they speak to many things in Liberia. Is Liberia dying? President quiet. The media is like asking questions just because they must just do something for something. Like the couple said, the Press Union of Liberia, they should be issuing the most strongest statement that people will look up to them, that the media is serious. They want to get to the bottom of this matter. In the midst of this thing, I saw the media, the Minister of Information talking about, how Facebook, like he want government to close internet. People talking about artificial intelligence. You're talking about social Facebook. And missed the death of this girl. When everybody, even the information minister, should be maybe advising the president. These are voices that should be heard, not publicly. But Mr. Information, go to Mr. President. I would advise, this is my strongest advice, that you need to address the press on this matter. You are the president of Liberia. You need to speak. If our information minister, definitely the president will speak. You don't speak, I'll go to you today, maybe you will dismiss me. The next day I found way, Mr. President, you went to your office yesterday. No disrespect to you, Mr. President. This issue, I'm begging you, you have to talk. In the whole we are building on you. You can't be in the corridor of power as a young man. You be afraid, especially when you know something is right. It should be done. The press union should be sometimes. No, they all have ways of reaching the judge here. You don't go to jail and you are inferior. You be laughing, just because you see maybe at the end of the day, they get some low envelope and then you go away. No. When it comes to the kind of serious matter, press union president, you walk to the president's office. Mr. President, I'm here because we are the fourth estate. Your silence is of concern. And I came here as head of the press union, not on the friendly note, even if you have friendship with the president, say, Mr. President, this is a time that you're supposed to speak. If you don't get nothing to say, but the council, they bereave formally. Speak to them. Some of people, I'm so sorry. We will get to the bottom of this thing. You call on your security people. Even you have a meeting with them. Whether you have a meeting with them, but even talk, say, look, I want to talk to the security people of this country. Something serious is happening. Continuous, mysterious death of circumstances not explained. I need to know what is happening. Like, you give them hope. Rather than keeping quiet. Going on the pulpit now and then, we know what other things are happening.
Thank you so much, Anthony Jensen.
So again, to close, George Numo and Dr. Gopu want to say thanks for coming on to the radio. And I like that, we all join forces and we keep to speak on the issues that matters to that country. Liberia must get better. And the way it get better is not for people to be quiet, but to speak out. That can send the signal. Like the Senate and the House, you all have said it. But we believe that they will go beyond vote of no confidence. Someone else stay with Joe Weah almost every day. What are they telling him?
And also on the issue of solutions, the police hotlines in Liberia, they need to work with the GSM company to create special numbers. Okay, so in the United States, you got 3 numbers you can call 911. In Liberia, it's the full telephone number that has to be called. From what I know, maybe I'm wrong. Anybody can correct me, but they just gave you 10 digits or how many normal digits there are. Somebody under attack, you should make it easier for that person. So you can work with the GSM company. The technology is there that you can just dial, 2 numbers or 3 numbers, and you immediately reach the emergency line. But it's not like that in Liberia. Just recently, they issue a long list of telephone numbers, and it's just the normal numbers. If you're under attack,
you don't have that time to memorize that the long number and call it.
You see?
And patient sent that Ogopo is talking about telephone. I'm asking myself, all of these suspect, everybody using phone, GSM company, is there any way, or is there any, those of you who have more experience, but I believe in my own low reading, like in America, I sit down here, people monitoring my phone.
That was a question.
Going to kill somebody, these people are communicating somewhere, somehow. They are communicating. Isn't there any way that the Liberia National Police or the Justice Ministry I mean, to reach out to GSM company and see some of these call law and maybe, certain conversation you get to hear, you don't even have to wait for the crime that you committed.
I think it is the Justice Ministry that will subpoena the record from the GSM complaint, and the GSM complaint will honor it.
I agree.
They-
What I
and
was
they
saying,
will-
George,
and-
is
and
in the
they
first
will
place,
pro- and
what I
they
was
will
saying in the first
provide
place,
and they will
whether or
provide
not
the information.
Yeah,
It
the
has to
legislature is
go.
supposed to
It has
pass-
to go through the courts. It has to go through the courts.
Yes,
From the
yes.
police,
I mean,
it goes
the
to the
Justice
court.
Ministry will go through the court.
Yeah, but they need to reform that system so that you're able to fast track things, right? Under certain circumstances, because you heard what the IG was saying, that it's in the court. The court has to decide. I was in a situation once where someone
Well,
was,
they do like there's a number up here. This person is saying they do have a number. That's one of the number.
okay. So so they got 911.
Yeah, they got 911 4455.
They're 4455. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's good.
But he's saying also that you will call that number the whole day, there will be no response. Nobody will answer that number. So
Okay.
it's like, it's kind of.
Okay, but the numbers I saw the last time were not that short.
They do have emergency numbers.
Okay, but I think there has to be.
Anyway, we will be back here. I know this discussion. If we continue, we're not going to move from here now.
No, we never.
Yeah, they I understand that the phone was on for 3 days, so they could have tracked the phone from the GSM company. They could have tracked the location because they took the phone and they took the laptop of the former Chief Justice. So the police really, really need to be proactive, not people telling them stuff before they start doing it.
Right.
But I want to say thank you. This is where we in. I want to say
Okay.
thank you for joining us this time. And our viewers out there, we also want to say thank you. We will be back here on the round table with another discussion that has to do with security also, and trending issues, national issues in Liberia. So thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you to all our panel guests, and thank you to our CEO. And we'll be back here another time. Have a great rest of your day.
We deliver the news to your door. Breaking news, top headlines, the big story, the latest update, and all you need to know are only available on the African Actions Network, 2A Radio and TV. The only independent and balanced online news network. Broadcasting from America to the world.